everyone. Welcome back to Mind Harbour episode 8, attempt number 2. Unfortunately, we ended up recording, trying to record 40 minutes worth of content, and I realized it was not recording for whatever reason. So this is our second attempt. Today is just, bear with us. Today is September, what is it? September 27th. Martin and Hannah will not be joining us today. Martin is in Banff, and Hannah is with some friends up north, I believe, so they will not be able to join us today, which is all right. Sean and I can hold it down pretty good. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep. How are things with you, Sean? Aside from the
fingers healing, still pickets at the college.
Yep.
Still very near misses of car crashes because of impatient people. So, same.
And no candy.
No. So, in one of the picket lines, they're handing out candy to students, and the line I was in didn't do that. I got to class, one of my classmates had candy. That made me sad.
They knew it was you, so they're like, quick, hide the candy. He's coming.
Yeah. Maybe that lady that took the picture of my car said specifically no candy to him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yep. I'm glad you didn't get candy.
How dare.
All right, well, should we rip into it, Sean?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to start off by speaking about the latest updates on the Russian-Ukrainian war, specifically the drone incursions and the frontline developments. So the war remains deadly and heavily focused on air and drone attacks on both sides. Russia has launched large drone and missile salvos against Ukraine infrastructure, some 580 drones and 40 missiles overnight on September 20th, killing civilians and damaging targets. Ukraine's air defense shot down most of the swarm. Ukraine has responded in kind. Its domestically built kamikaze drones have struck deep into Russian territory, hitting energy facilities and ports. For example, Ukraine attacked Russia's Black Sea port of Novorossiysk in September 24th, killing 2 and prompting a state of emergency within Russia. Ukrainian drones also bombarded the Gazprom petrochemical plant in Salavat twice this week, igniting fires in key units. These strikes, 600 to 1,400 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, are intended to cripple the Russian war economy and provoke Russian resource diversions. We spoke about this briefly in our other Russian-Ukraine war chat, and I fully admit when I'm wrong, I was wrong. I did not expect Ukraine to hit multiple different refinery or oil infrastructure aside from the one last week or the week before. Since then, they've hit, I think it's like almost 4 to 5 refineries or oil infrastructure buildings, to the point where they have actually crippled a lot of the Russian oil infrastructure. It's interesting. I would imagine it's mostly from drone attacks because, I mean, 1,400 kilometers away from the main front is pretty far, don't you think, Sean?
I do. A lot of the Ukrainian resource has come from Western aid and all of that. Not to downplay their defense and their strategies, they've been holding their own. But a lot of it is from external resource. In terms of proximity of the strikes, it seems like it's a pretty smart tactic so that like you can sort of create a field of rubble around the entrance of Ukraine from the Russian side.
Mm-hmm.
It would just slow down all their fronts via land, force them to go through air and or drones. So like it sort of takes out one of their options.
And I just thought about this, but I wonder if it makes a difference for drones during, winter warfare. Obviously, because it's colder, maybe the circuitry within the drones or the signaling is a little more difficult. Or because of the snow, like it actually snowing, the snowpack on the drone as it's flying. I'd be interested to learn a little bit about that. Obviously, they work fine in the summer, you know.
Yeah,
But obviously,
I'm
if they're
not too
not fiber
sure.
optic connected, it would be interesting.
Yeah, especially in heavy storms, it would be really troublesome getting signals through.
Yeah, I don't know if you would even be able to fly drones during heavy snowstorms, which would give an
Like
opportunity for ground troops to advance.
on days it's not snowing. I've seen Ukrainian war footage of drone strikes when there's like snow on the ground and it's really cold out. But when it's actively snowing, I think you're right. It wouldn't be an option.
Yeah, and I wonder how close in proximity the drone is to the front line operator, because if it's, close enough where you can run it very briefly and it's going to be a kamikaze drone anyway, doesn't really matter if the motor is, cold because it doesn't have a
Yeah,
lot of runtime. I could see a lot of like short range kamikaze drone attacks during the winter, but I couldn't see like large like missile drones, like drones with ordnance on it, going for
yeah, no.
longer in the winter. I just don't see it. That's an interesting concept, though. I would like to look into that a little bit more
Like if
for the
it's
next
anything
time.
like phones and stuff, the colder it is, the battery dies a lot quicker.
Right. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Um, the ground on the front lines have largely stabilized amid furious counter battery duels. Both sides claim to be inflicting heavy losses. Ukrainian officials report that recent counteroffensives in the regions of Donetsk and Kherson have reclaimed dozens of square kilometers in several villages near Pokrovsk and Bakhmut. President Zelensky says Ukrainian forces are neutralizing repeated Russian breakthroughs near Dobropilya and Kazany at high cost to the invaders. Russia's military admits only slow, painful gains. Veteran official Dmitry Rogozin says the battlefield is at an impasse, with both sides bleeding heavily. He describes Russian assaults as fragmented infantry attacks under relentless Ukrainian drone and mines, resulting in enormous difficulty and attrition. Ukrainian commanders also echo this. General Siersky says Russia's 2025 offensive has failed on its original goals, stymied by well prepared defenses. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Do you want to take the next part, Sean?
Yeah. Kyiv is scrambling to bolster its defenses amid all these Russian strikes, especially with these drones. Zelensky is finalizing a new United States weapon deal with a $90 billion aid package and separate drone deal to produce more uncrewed systems. Ukraine's emphasis on drones is urgent, as Zelensky notes Russia's nightly onslaught of hundreds of drones and missiles, and insists on matching the numbers to be very vital. To date, Ukraine's manufacturing of reconnaissance and kamikaze drones has been pretty impressive, with millions made and still more coming. But it really depends on Western missiles and air defense batteries. Notably, Ukraine has deployed at least one Israeli made Patriot battery, with two more expected, to protect cities from incoming rockets and drones. So then, regionally, NATO and EU members have moved to deter spillover. Polish and Dutch fighter jets were scrambled in September to shoot down dozens of Russian drones that sprayed into Polish and Romanian airspace. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, this is a development that honestly I didn't see coming. Like I said before, I think there was the possibility of possibly, either Estonia or Belarus being, not invaded, but like kind of little green men, if you will. Um, but the fact that they've shot down Polish or drones over Poland, they've reported them in Estonian and Dutch airspace. They've actually scrambled jets. This is a large provocation that Europe has to respond to in force.
Top of that, Denmark recently confirmed fresh drone overflights of its major bases in Karup and Aalborg and Bornholm, which their government has called hybrid attacks linked likely to Russia. Denmark and other European Union states are now collaborating on a drone wall defense initiative to intercept such incursions. So, literally, the Great Wall of China, but drones with guns. Some most likely have bombs.
And like I said, like before recording, it should be like a massive eagle, just like Rah!
Yeah.
Or just
You
like
need
the
freedom,
European
drone
stars,
wall.
or like the NATO insignia, or just an F-16, a massive F-16.
And imagine how eerie the sound that makes with all like the buzzing, like the.
It would.
That's
I
gonna
can't
be
even.
terrifying.
That would be terrifying. Just
Yeah, on September 22nd at the NATO summit, NATO members directly confronted Russia over these incidents. The British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper warned that uninvited Russian aircrafts in Estonian or Polish airspace risk direct armed confrontation, while the United States UN ambassador affirmed that NATO will defend every inch of its territory. Russia denies such violations and accusations and accuses the West of alarmism. Notably, the ICAO Aviation Assembly in Montreal, Russia was rebuffed. It narrowly failed to win a seat at the UN Aviation Council, getting only 87 of the 93 votes needed. A symbolic rebuke for its wartime conduct. So at least there's a little bit of pushback about time. And
yeah,
it has a lot to do with the realization that they're being propped up by not only BRICS, but a lot of European countries still buying gas, energy, and LNG
correct.
from Russia. So on top, like these sanctions and the fact that the Russian ruble is now 0.7 of a cent US, it doesn't matter because they're still getting so much revenue from external sources.
Right.
Like,
And
the money that they pay, it's not in rubles. They pay in fucking whatever their native currency is, and that is still worth what it is. So
they're also one of the largest arms manufacturer and exporter in the world aside from the States. Like they export on the black market all the time. Yeah. They're also in cahoots with North Korea and China in a lot of ways. So I could see a lot of development of like train or LNG pipeline infrastructure between China and Russia and North Korea and possibly India.
yeah.
If that happens, that's like clear lines being drawn, you know.
On the diplomatic front, though, quickly,
Yep.
International diplomacy remains active but a little bit strained. President Zelensky has been rallying Western support at the UN General Assembly in New York. He met with President Trump on September 23rd and will soon visit the US to finalize an arms deal. President Trump publicly shifted tone, declaring at the UN Ukraine can recover all lost territories and calling Russia a paper tiger.
So this is a pretty big development in terms of Trump's rhetoric from last week. Can we just recognize that fact first?
Because he was like, oh, Putin, smart man, coming to the table to make a deal. Then walks away. oh, you're making bad decision. I'm going to support Ukraine more.
Yeah,
In simple terms.
and then Zelensky basically sucks fucking Trump's dick for the last week and a half, sucking up to him, and then he's basically. It's very interesting the way that dynamic shifted so quickly.
Yes. And negotiations with Russia have, like we said, stalled.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine rejects Moscow's demands for neutrality and relinquishing land. And Russia's most recent offer was a buffer zone in Sumy/Kharkiv. It remains as a non-starter.
Yeah, so this is an interesting point. I think the fact that Trump is now shifting his rhetoric to no, Russia has to relinquish land. That's interesting because obviously Russia is not going to do that. They have troops in Ukraine right now. Anything that they've taken, they're going to keep unless there is some kind of reason
They're
within the
gonna
negotiations.
fight like hell to keep it.
Absolutely. But my whole point is during negotiations, they're going to have to make at some impasse for Ukraine specifically. And like I said in the last episode, I think it's going to have to do with a lot of the infrastructure and land going to Russia that is actually valuable to Ukraine, and not a lot of land that
Yeah.
is not valuable to Ukraine. I think a lot of, specifically Kharkiv and um,
Sumy?
no, anyway, starts with a B. It's one of those regions. I think Kharkiv and the other one, Bakhmut, the Bakhmut region. Those two are definitely going to be very, very important for Russia. And then also any farmland, right? So infrastructure and farmland is going to be huge for those deals. And also to get far enough so Russia can actually use other means to build refinery infrastructure and piping, so they can, yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
But yeah, I don't see them relinquishing any land anytime soon. The fact that they are being denied their buffer zone in Kharkiv, which is like right on the front line, is interesting to me.
Yeah. I don't really know. It like it's just been so much of, oh my gosh, there's going to be a deal. Oh, they walked away. Oh, there's going to be a deal, but they all walked away again. So a lot of this I try to take with a grain of salt because I like to see what I believe in most senses, especially in this context. So,
Absolutely. War is
so
always
there's my
obfuscation.
little thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to like, especially in war. Obviously, there's two sides, so two sides to one story. You know how that goes, even in just with two people. Oh, he hit me. No, he hit me. Well, right.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with deals that are being made for the battlefield. It's difficult sometimes, especially when you have a country a lot stronger than one, that's initiating the war and pushing and taking land and doing what they do in a war. That side usually has a better hand for negotiating, depending. But again, this has been drawn out for 4 years now, so it's going to have to end soon or eventually, unless Russia has something up their sleeve where they think that they can pounce on Europe and NATO.
Yeah. Like, I wonder what's going through the top Russian generals head right now in terms of like what their disposition is on what's moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I think
should be
it's
interesting to see how they play this out.
absolutely, and I think there's got to be like 50 of them. 50% of them are probably like, this is a good time to go into Europe because NATO is not what it used to be. And now that Trump's in office, they're not sure if NATO is even going to be enough, you know? Because most of Europe,
Yeah.
honestly, like London, or sorry, England, and a couple of those surrounding, like Scotland, England, like they don't have huge militaries anymore. Like they decoupled, they de-armed after World War II, right? Most of Europe did, until the Cold War, of course. But it's been 70 years now of basically Europe being asleep at the wheel. Same with us in Canada. Um, I can easily see the Russians maybe seeing a break in the line and not having to worry about Ukraine anymore and trying to provoke with these drones, for example, the Polish drones that were shot down, or I guess the Russian drones that were shot down over Poland. That's clear provocation, but Russia didn't do anything. Instead, they escalated and they started putting drones over in Estonia, Belarus, you know, all these other different surrounding nations. That's a clear provocation. So they're going to wait until one gets shot down in NATO airspace, and I could see that as an excuse. But then again, that's full on war. That's easily war with Europe, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a far escalation off from World War III, right? So I don't like any of this. I don't like any of it.
Yeah. I really wonder, like, who, like, would side with Russia at this point. Just, like,
Well, we know
everybody
BRICS for sure.
end the war.
BRICS for sure, like China, North Korea, possibly India. We know Belarus would side with them. Um, the Zulu Nation would side. No, I'm joking. It just reminded me of that Dave Chappelle skit. He's like, the Zulu Nation has said they're gonna send sticks or something. um. Anyway, we can move on from the Ukraine stuff if you want.
I mean, yeah, like, it's cool, but at the same time, it's very unfortunate that there's still no resolution.
Yeah, and the fact that they're
Because,
now like provoking Europe is terrifying to me. You know,
yeah,
it's actually really bad.
it will be
Like you said,
an
they've now
interesting
invoked
next
Article
year and a
4,
half.
right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
will. But now that they've invoked Article 4, like it's not long before they can easily just shoot down a drone and fucking we're at war.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Article
also,
5 is close.
right, and then also Secretary of War Pete Hegseth obviously had all of the generals and brigadiers and all those guys to come to a face-to-face in Washington meeting where some of the main points were basically we're going to be a little bit more isolationist. We're going to basically be more focused on the Western Hemisphere instead of the rest of the world. So we're going to start decoupling and start bringing resources back to our own country for watching our own borders, which I've been saying it for years. That's not a bad thing for the States. Honestly, I think that's kind of good. I think they've overextended themselves for so long and pissed off the rest of the world for so long that they kind of need to come back and reequate what they have and then maybe even retrain for border incursions and things like that. Because the world is now becoming more and more isolationist, and that's because of Trump, for one. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but I do think anytime you see a large country that is reamalgamating their forces and becoming more isolationist, it's a clear signal to the rest of the world that they know something or something is about to happen, or they are just so in the shit that they need to pull back everything and re-antiquate everything.
Yeah.
So
Like, that not too long ago should be an interesting next year and a half, 2 years.
Yep,
see how all this unfolds and plays out.
for sure. So should we move on to the Middle Eastern Gaza
Yeah.
conflict? All right. Should we start with the video or no?
Um. Yeah, we could start with the
Okay.
video.
So this week, President Netanyahu spoke in the UN address, and we just want to show it here briefly. But it was it was a really funny pop quiz that he did, and I just want to show everyone here now. Okay, Sean, we are ready to go.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So let's do something else first at the UN. Let's do
Oh, I can hear it, Sean.
And raise your hand if you know the answer. Here's the first question. Who shouts death to America? Is it A, Iran, B, Hamas, C,
Like there's
Hezbollah,
feedback.
D, the Houthis,
Not anymore,
or
you're good.
E, all of the above?
Hey,
All
B.
of the above.
Ah, damn it.
Correct. All of the above. Second question.
Shit.
A, Iran, B, Hamas. Who has murdered Americans and Europeans in cold blood? Is it A,
B.
Al Qaeda, B, Hamas,
Yeah.
C, Hezbollah, D, Iran,
You still hear it?
or E,
No, you're good.
all of the above?
B. God damn it.
Correct. Again, Hamas,
This is ridiculous.
Hezbollah. So here's the point I wanted to make. Our enemies hate all of us with equal venom. They want to drag the modern world back to the past, to a dark age of...
All right, enough of BB. We don't need to listen to his BS anymore. His BBBS, if you will. I just wanted to show the little pop quiz there because it's so funny to me. So stupid. But yeah, did you see his QR code on his chest?
Yeah. I hope nobody scanned that.
Yeah, dude.
Don't know what that went to.
Just a Pegasus program that downloads your entire phone.
Here, I'm going to see if anybody looked scanned it or not.
Yeah.
What did? What?
Just directly goes to the Mossad website and it's like, we did not kill JFK, or we did not kill Charlie Kirk. I'm joking. Don't kill me, Mossad. Barely have 10 subscribers.
The QR code was part of a broader public diplomacy campaign titled "Remember October 7th," which included billboards and digital screens around New York City, especially near the UN headquarters.
And then when you
direct global attention to the events of that day,
which Mossad knew about and let happen. Did you hear about that? They knew about October 7th and they let it happen?
essentially a white flag up.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyways, on to the Gaza war.
Yep,
James?
sorry. Thank you for reminding me, Sean. So the conflict continues unabated. Israeli forces have pressed deeper into Gaza City, with the Palestinian Health Ministry reporting dozens of Palestinian deaths daily, 74 in 24 hours on September 27th alone. Israel's campaign began 2 years ago and by now has killed over 65,000 Gazans, displacing nearly all residents and collapsing much of Gaza's healthcare and civil infrastructure. Reports of famine and humanitarian crisis are widespread. Aid agencies like MSF have been forced to halt operations in besieged areas. The Israeli military denies targeting civilians or committing atrocities such as genocide. So, I just wanted to say one thing on that, and that was the number 65,000 Gazans. I think that number is far higher. Sean and I were discussing this before, and it just seems a little low. A lot of the reporting within this war has been skewed on both sides, whether it's Hamas or Israel, misreporting deaths, either age-wise, civilian or combatant-wise, building-wise. So there's a lot of Israeli obfuscation that's going on, but also there's a lot of, Hamas is obviously a terror cell. It's not using civilians in the right way you should be either. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that there is a lot of obfuscation with the numbers on civilian and combatant deaths within the Gaza conflict.
Yeah. So the population of Gaza before the war was around 2.1 million people. The figure is based on projections of the Palestinian Central Bureau of Stats and the U.S. Census Bureau and CIA World Factbook. Since October 7th, there has been reportedly around 200,000 people out that left Gaza due to displacement, emigration, and casualties. So 68,000 people have been estimated to have been killed, 66,054 Palestinians and nearly 2,000 Israelis. I sort of would agree with James that the number seems a bit low after all this footage and stuff that's come out.
Plus, admissions from both sides of skewing numbers.
Yes. So the number is at least 68,000, but possibly up to 93,000, according to the Australia Israel Jewish Affairs Council. So,
well, there was 2 million
of those 66. Yeah.
Well, let's do the math quick, right? 2 million,
Well,
68,000. Let's say it's 68,000, right? How many of those had actually left and fled and made it out of Gaza without, casualties?
Yeah,
that's kind of the
68,000 death toll is probably just the people that have been literally in there, not actively fleeing.
Right, but I'm saying, even if it was, they're lumping that 68,000 into actual combatant numbers as well. Right? Or am I getting that wrong?
According to the Washington Institute, about 80% of the Palestinian deaths have been believed to be Palestinians.
Okay.
So that would equate to around 48,800 of the 61,000 Palestinian deaths.
Okay.
But let's do the math. If it's 93,000, so 80% of 93,000 is 74,400. So if that number, it could be anywhere from 68,000 to pretty well 100,000 civilian deaths.
And we're starting off with 2 million people population. So just in your mind, work that out. You can see, obviously, these numbers look very skewed. That's just kind of what I was trying to paint a picture for. It started with 2 mil, and they've only killed supposedly 100,000. Yee. It's a little dicey. Anyway, let's move on. So peace efforts. On September 25th, UN-sponsored leaders endorsed a Middle East peace declaration urging a two-state solution and an end to the Gazan war. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas pledged via video to work with U.S. President Trump, France, Saudi Arabia, and others to implement a UN-backed Gaza peace deal. He rejected Hamas's October 7th attacks as an unrepresentative and said that the Palestinian Authority is ready to resume full governance of Gaza if Hamas disarms. Hamas, however, says it has not seen any U.S. ceasefire proposal and reiterated its demands. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said Trump presented a 21-point peace plan to Middle Eastern leaders this week, which reportedly includes a prisoner swap and Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who opposes the concessions to Hamas, is due to meet Trump in Washington on September 29th. Regional dynamics in broader Middle East, the tensions remain. Turkish President Erdogan said he and Trump have reached an understanding on Gaza ceasefire terms, though the details are still unclear. Israel's far-right coalition shows no signs of bowing to international pressure, insisting Hamas to be crushed. Meanwhile, Iran faces renewed UN sanctions on Saturday for violating its limits on nuclear-linked work. Lebanese militant group Hezbollah marked the anniversary of its slain leader's son and claimed attacks have undermined Israel's offensive, which here it's in quotes a propaganda move. So, I mean, there's a lot of movement within Gaza City, obviously, because of the Israeli occupation, but there are also broader tensions within the Middle East, specifically Iran, with their nuclear-linked work. Yeah, it's always been dicey in the Middle East, but it just seems every single day it's getting dicier and dicier. Like there's always something new. And you're like, what the?
Yeah, literally. There's always something.
There's always something new. You're like, damn it, they're starting again. They're doing it again. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Like I get it, but like it just doesn't make anyway. Fuck. You want to take the Asian Pacific, Korean Peninsula?
I feel like at least like there's like somewhat talks of peace. Like at least they've like set their boundaries, like whether agree with them or not, like they've set their limits.
Yeah, totally.
Like that's like the biggest contrast I think between this and the Russian-Ukrainian war is like they're not even really telling each other what they want. They're just seeing who has the bigger dick. So like at least here like they're like, yo, we can't have this, we can't have that, we can't have this, we can't have that. And obviously what's going on is a tragedy. But I hope that that's resolved quicker.
I do too.
Than the other one, because a lot more people are dying in this one, and that is the kicker.
Yeah, but again, I don't trust Israel as far as I could throw it. I think as soon as a peace deal is made within like a year, Israel's going to be doing another broader conflict, either with Israel or Iran or Lebanon, Yemen. I mean, you name it. I mean, there's so many countries they want, and they have like a plan. Greater Israel Project is a real thing. People should look it up. It's been around since the early '90s. So I could see Netanyahu also dragging this out because he wants to be in power, and obviously under Israeli law, apparently, as long as you're at war with another nation, you don't need to do elections, which means Netanyahu is permanently in power until war is ended. So that's another reason I don't think that they'll necessarily get a peace deal with Gaza and Israel, but I could see something along the lines of a peace deal, but I doubt it'll be a full end to the war until Netanyahu has either started a new war or he's changed his criminal code. So
pretty interesting developments.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did we say we were going to skip the Asian Pacific?
I think so.
Okay. Do you want me to take the Europe NATO stuff, or do you want to take it?
Sure. I can do the one after.
Okay. So, NATO and European security. So, NATO members are deeply concerned by Russia's provocation, are bolstering their defenses. After the Russian Estonia airspace breach and Polish drone incursions, NATO has agreed to rotate more fighter patrols and strengthen Baltic air forces. Air defenses. Germany, for example, says it will take new measures to counter high drone threat. Sweden publicly released imagery of a Russian MiG-31 that has violated Estonian airspace. I didn't realize it was actually a MiG. Holy crap, I thought it was just drones. That's huge.
No, it was like full on fighter jets.
Yeah, MiG 31 is nothing to sniff at. That's like the equivalent of the F-16. Like that's
Yeah.
a real big provocation. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. Holy. Sorry. Russian MiG-31 that violated Estonian airspace, and Estonia summoned Russia in protest. On September 22nd at the UN, Ukraine's foreign minister even offered to link its own air defenses with those to NATO members to counter trans-border attacks. The UN General Assembly and Climate, as of this week, the UN General Assembly dominated global headlines this week. World leaders gathered in New York as a slew of issues collided. Obviously, Ukraine's war, the Gaza conflict, and climate change. Apart from Zelensky and Trump's speeches, climate was a priority. Climate Week New York City parallel to UNGA, speakers urged swift action to match long-term promises. Notably, countries ratified the first ever High Seas Treaty on September 24th, creating a legal framework to protect international ocean waters beyond national jurisdictions. Hailed as a landmark for ocean conservation. Sorry, not conversation. Lol. The US, UK, and Australia pledged updated climate plans with calls for China to outline its path to net zero by 2060. With COP30 looming in November, pressure is on the leaders to show progress despite recent domestic budget strains. Especially with all tariffs going on, yeah, countries are gonna have to figure that out. And quick, my God.
I mean, Carney was just praising China on their climate goals, and it's like, what do you mean climate goals? They're 35% of the global emissions.
Yep. And they're still building coal plants, Carney. You ding dong. This is why. Anyway.
Sharamuta.
Just amazing. Just what I want, to become greater partners with China at this day and age in 2025 in North America. We're like, yeah, we'd rather side with China.
I don't think that's a smart move, but I'm not a marine biologist.
Did you say they fucking implemented the Real ID? Well, they're trying to implement the Real ID in England? Yeah, in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
That's so messed up, dude. That. You know we're next, right? Like, as soon as the UK does it, we're going to be next. Yeah.
That's why I'm glad I'm a dual citizen. I can just hop back over the border if I need to.
Yeah, I don't think Canadians will take it though. I really don't. As soon as they realize like what it is, they're not gonna be happy. We're very proud. We like our freedom. We don't like being controlled necessarily. We're very much like the Americans in that sense.
Get a little flashback to the pandemic time. Canadians had their sphincters open for the government, so...
Yeah, but that also opened up a lot of Canadians' eyes to not open up their sphincters to the government. I think it was a large shift, especially now. You know? Maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I think when people's lives get fucked with enough, they realize.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope.
I really don't see, like, Canada's population laying over on this. I really don't. Not anymore.
That's another case of we'll have to wait until it happens to find out.
Yep, I know.
Unfortunately.
And it's another case of me being optimistic about my surroundings.
Yes.
Maybe too optimistic.
Like,
Delusional optimism. That's what I like to call it.
Hey, you gotta think happy thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, oh no, Toronto's about to get nuked. Oh, nice, there's the Oilers game tonight.
I'm gonna get drunk and watch the Oilers while I see my body melt in front of my eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
while I see my own X-ray.
McDavid. We need McDavid to lead us in the
Dogpile McDavid on fucking Toronto ice. Everyone just runs. Get him! Get him in a fridge. Then fucking get on it.
Wonder how many people it would take to shield somebody from a nuke's worth of radiation. Probably the entire population.
I think it would just become like a melted like ball of human goo. Or just disintegrate.
We could stop talking.
Sorry. I don't know why my brain was like so interested. It was like, okay, well, we can actually figure this out. We got this. We can figure it out.
It's like when I just randomly looked up the other week how much is the lethal dose of table salt.
You get these random questions. You're like, yeah, what the fuck? And then you type it in. You're like, as you're typing it and pressing search, you're like, oh, that was a dumb fucking question. I just wasted a prompt search.
Or how much sugar to give you diabetes? Oh, well, I should have. My blood is syrup at this point.
I should know by now.
Why are my feet dark purple?
Why do my fingers and arms sting at night?
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to finish off are you on Africa's? Where are we at? I completely blanked out on that.
Yeah, I think we're on to the Africa in Americas.
Okay.
So, the continent of Africa. The way it's put on the note, it's reading.
I didn't write it.
So okay, several African political developments caught an attention. So this is not just strictly the entire continent. Just for some context, this is like
specific parts of the continent,
countries that this happens. Yes. So okay, in Uganda, veteran president Yoweri Museveni, my bad if I butchered that, age 81, was cleared by the Electoral Commission to run again in early 2026, potentially extending his 39-year rule.
Holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
40 years in office.
Can you imagine?
So that's an interesting development. And that definitely supersedes the US's 2-term limit. Just by a little bit.
Dude, it's only 2 decades off of Trudeau's, though.
For real. Okay, next one. In Central Africa, the country of Chad, their government overwhelmingly approved a new constitution on September 16th, allowing President Mahamat Idris Deby to run indefinitely. So, pretty well forever. Cementing his control after a 2021 coup.
Bro, Africa is sick to follow. We should follow Africa more.
Well, it just reminds me of the clip of that one guy who's like, corruption is bad, but it's good when it's with me.
Right.
I find that funny. Anyways,
We are going to change the independence.
In Malawi,
Malawi.
they held a contested election September 16th amid economic crisis. A runoff is expected to happen between incumbent Lazarus Chakwera and ex-president Peter Muthariki. So, okay. Interesting. Nigeria continues to face internal strains. Their Supreme Court recently allowed a controversial blasphemy case appeal, and construction of the Dangote oil refinery was hindered by crude shortages. So, I guess, in recap, there was a constitution change. There was construction of a new oil refinery and a tiny bit of corruption.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge. But I did see an economic report for 2024, and all the countries, all the third world developing countries, like the top 5 of them, were all African nations. And the report said Africa as a continent will either become one of the richest continents per capita or remain where they are forever.
I actually wouldn't. It would be kind of cool to kind of have a dual citizenship, like live in Africa.
Ton of gold.
Mm-hmm. They've got a shit ton of land.
Gold and diamonds. Yeah.
Undeveloped land.
Very lucrative.
Yeah. It'd be cool to like see if you could buy like a plot of land down there and develop it.
Mm-hmm. So for the Americas, in Latin America, discontent is mounting. Peru's youth, so-called Gen Z, took to the streets this week protesting a new pension reform and chronic corruption. Demonstrators in Lima and other cities demanded President Dina Boluarte's resignation and repeal of forced enrollment in private pensions.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe their pension right now, you aren't forced into it as a government employee. That makes sense. Yeah, that would piss me off.
Mining operations have also been disrupted. Hudbay Minerals shut a copper mill amid the unrest. These protests echo youth-led movements even elsewhere. For context, Nepali and Indonesian students have also been anti-corruption activists and have, in Nepal, actually burnt down their parliament building.
They also elected their next president on Discord.
I did see that. Well, I mean, they had no Capitol building to do it, so they had to find elsewhere.
They just had a Discord meeting like that one.
Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of uprising, even in Peru. They're following suit in the heels of the student protests.
Interesting.
And like they're claiming it's economic genocide / grievance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, good for them. I say good to you and keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Take out corruption every country at a time. I love it.
Yes.
And we should have more Discord elections.
Next debate.
Fucking it's on Discord.
Vance versus AOC.
Discord. 8:00.
Just make sure to scan Netanyahu's QR code and then you get access.
Yeah. You have been admitted.
Thank you for scanning QR code. Your bank information has been duly noted.
As soon as you're done watching, the Mossad just like pulls you right out of your fucking wall. Just blows your wall up, grabs you, just takes you off on a helicopter.
Yeah. Or they just send like an Amazon drone.
All right, so you want me to finish off the summary here, Sean?
Sure.
So in summary, the past week saw some continuing high-intensity conflict in Ukraine, marked by deadly drone and missile attacks from Russia and long-range Ukrainian retaliations. Accompanied by stalemated ground offensive, NATO and EU members are urgently reinforcing eastern defenses against Russian provocations. In parallel, the Gaza war intensified while diplomatic efforts, including U.S. and international peace proposals, have yet to halt the fighting. Oh, damn. Sorry, I messed that up. At the UN, global leaders pressed each other on these wars and on climate action. Elsewhere, regional tensions simmered. North Korea declared its nuclear program a non-negotiable, which, I mean, that's been non-negotiable for a while. Where am I? Sorry, I just lost my spot. Damn it. Well, South Korea pledged to de-escalate tensions. There's the political unrest was notable too. Youth protests in Peru and Indonesia, like Sean just mentioned, challenged the incumbent governments, and leaders reshuffled political rules in the Uganda and Chad. All these events underscore an era of pervasive geopolitical friction, from Europe's airspaces to Asia's armories to global climate meetings, requiring close attention as developments unfold. Thank you guys for watching Mind Harbor Episode 8. Please join us every single week. We usually have one episode a week on Sunday or Monday. Is there anything else you want to say, Sean?
Other than thank you for listening. And yeah, we also have reels and all that. So hopefully you catch those on your feed, get a laugh, watch our stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, if you guys have any topics for us, please send them our way. We'll be happy to talk about whatever the audience would like us to talk about. We have a lot of fun doing all this and keeping up with the world, so we can do that together.
Absolutely. We also have our business inquiry email on our page, our channel page, and we'll be doing a little bit more developing on other platforms. But in the meantime, please just leave a like, subscribe, comment, and all that. And we will see you next week, guys. Peace.
It's on Spotify too.
It is on Spotify as well.
Yes.
Peace, guys.
Peace out.